folks, I am back in a familiar place with a familiar face. It is fight week for Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva, and I brought in the man, the myth, the legend himself. He is a staple of Camp Paul. He is the boxing coach, one of many key factors in the camp of Jake Paul. It's none other than BJ Flores. BJ, what's up, baby?
Wade, what's up, man? I appreciate the introduction. I'm one of Jake's trainers, Danny Smith, myself. We work together, and we're a great team, man. I'm so happy Danny's on board. He's on the team and everything. And it's just been such a great addition. We got a big surprise for everybody on Saturday, so check it out.
You know, we were talking just before we got on here, and you brought up something that I've noticed from your camp this time around. You go, we're not talking. We're done with this talking stuff. We're just ready to get going. It's been 10 months since Jake's been in the ring, and I can tell you guys, obviously, with the Rockman fight and Tommy and all the stuff that fell out, you guys have been working. Talk to me more about that, though, that this one's been a little different with the build-up. You're done with the talking. Talk to me about just, I guess, what the difference has been. Why so much more reserved and focused for this one, specifically on the fight and not so much talking stuff?
Anderson's a legend. Anderson's was one of my favorite fighters growing up. MMA fighters. He's very talented. He's just a solid person, man. I'm a big Anderson Silva fan, and we all are, But look, this is the name, this is the guy, this is the fight to make, and this was the opportunity. And Jake's excited about it. We don't have anything to say. We just want to get to the ring and do all our talking in the ring. We don't have anything to say. The last 11 months, we've been working very, very hard. You could say in the lab, we've got a special piece to the puzzle that I brought in last October. Danny Smith, who was my boxing trainer for 7 or 8 years when I was a professional boxer, and taught me a lot of good things. One of the best boxing minds I know. And we've added him onto the team. He's just a massive part of everything we do. And it's just so great working with him every day, making sure Jake is the best he can be, and working with the rest of the guys on the team. Jay Leone, Dika, Ocean, Gus, Carl, everybody is working together to make sure everyone does their job. Even to Chef Byron, to Marcos, to everybody on the team, man, just making Jake's life easy so he can focus on boxing. And it's just, man, it's great. We're at a great place right now, and Jake is really locked in. So this is going to be a breakout performance.
Yeah, and listen, I can tell there's a different vibe this time around. You're not going in versus a familiar opponent like Tyron, and even the first one with Tyron, it felt like you guys had answers, and it was like, you know what, we're going in with a guy that Jake can beat. Stylistically, this is a matchup that we can absolutely take advantage of, and it wasn't the level, right? And that's not the level of Anderson Silva. And obviously you guys know something we don't about Jake's improvement. Talk to me about the dangers, though, of Anderson Silva. Why he's such a more dangerous opponent than maybe some of the guys that you've already faced.
I mean, experience. He's going to show up to the fight ready. He's not going to cut any corners. He's been there a million times. He's seen the lights a million times. He's seen the noises of the crowd a million times. His nerves won't get rattled. Still a little bit, but I mean, not like a rookie, not like a beginner. Learning how to control those emotions. It's a massive part. Learning how to control those adrenaline spikes. I mean, people lose fights before the fight ever starts all the time because they can't deal when they get in the spotlight. Right. And Anderson not only can deal with the spotlight, he's been the very best in the spotlight there ever is. So that's one of the things we really got to be careful of. His experience is incredible. Like, Jake should never be able to get in there with a guy like Anderson Silva ever. And his experience is just unbelievable. Also, his pacing is very good. He comes, he attacks. He comes a lot of different ways. His defense is good. He moves his head very well for an MMA fighter. Like, MMA fighters really struggle with getting the head movement. He's got a great rhythm. He does a lot of things really well. So I give him a lot of credit. He's got a lot of courage for taking on Jake. And people might look at it the other way, but knowing what I know, Anderson's got a lot of courage. I'm telling you right now. Jake's been in there with a lot of very tough guys for this camp, and he's ready.
And that's the thing too, man. It's like you look at this, and on paper at least, you look at this fight and you go, this is Anderson Silva's fight to win. This makes no sense. How would Jake make the step up? But again, from your camp and just watching Jake's progression, you're looking at it the other way and saying, this is a dangerous fight for Anderson Silva. Like, on paper for us, this is, we're going to shock some people here. But I want to ask you specifically, when you just talked about Anderson's head movement and some things that he does differently from normal MMA fighters, right? Because he does have that Thai-style background, right?
He's got an elite skill set. He really does.
Yeah, and so I want to ask you, what do you expect from him on fight night? Because I'm just a big Anderson Silva fan as you are. I've seen him show up in different fights looking to kill. I've seen him play around a bit. I've seen him do a ton of stuff. What are you expecting from him on fight night, style-wise? What do you think he brings to this fight?
I mean, without giving too much away, I hope he's aggressive. I hope he's aggressive, and I hope he tries to give a good fight to the fans. So if he comes forward and he meets the middle of the ring and he tries to press Jake and be aggressive, I think that's going to work out very, very well for the fans. And without going too much into detail, I just feel like it's going to be a great night. It's going to be a lot of great action. Like I was watching the Chael Sonnen show the other day, and I'm a big Chael fan. He's a great voice and very sharp guy. And he points out so many perspectives that only a fighter would know, and he's very well spoken. And he interviewed, I think, like 11 or 12 different former UFC champions and stars. And I mean, the poll was 9-2, Anderson Silva. Everybody thinks Anderson's going to win, and it's not just in the MMA world. I mean, everybody thinks he's going to win, and everyone thinks Jake's outclassed. And this is just the perfect opportunity for Jake to really make a statement. So it's there's a lot more to it than that. But I expect Anderson to come out and beat him. I expect him to try to use his experience. I expect him to look for holes where he feels like he can take advantage of Jake. I hope he's aggressive, so we've got something to work with. And we'll see what happens, and we'll make adjustments.
Yeah, it's funny the way you ended that off. Something to work with. It felt like, especially with the last two fights, it felt like two bulls just ramming horns, just like over and over. Him and Tyron. Just quickly, if you want to go back to it, what the difference between, I think, the second Tyron fight and this, not only is Jake's experience, but he's going to be in there with a more fluid boxer. It's not going to be a guy learning to box on the fly, which does, in some respect, you even go back to the Nate fight, it gives guys problems. It's awkward to be the guy just running in with their head down, and it makes things a little tougher. The distance is harder to manage. I think this is, like you said, going to be more of a boxing match, and I think that's going to allow Jake, in some respect, to show the things that you guys have been working on for the last 2 years,
100%. And like you said at Wade, like it's going to be one of those situations where, Anderson's a better boxer than Tyron. He's a much better boxer than Nate. He's a much better boxer than anybody else Jake has faced in the ring. No question about it. But that will also bring out better, you'll be able to see more weapons and more tools from Jake, because he will be able to put that into play instead of just getting rushed and bulldozed by a 5'9", really spark plug. Yeah. Tyron Woodley is a spark plug, is the best way to describe him. He's powerful, he's strong. There's small little tiny windows to capitalize when he's jumping in and otherwise he's tying up. But I think this is going to be stylistically a lot better matchup for Jake. And I think this is going to be a great fight. On Anderson Silva, he's one of those guys he's not going to give up. He's going to do every single thing in his power to win. And don't be fooled by the nice guy. Oh, hey, I'm not. And he is a very nice guy, no question about it. But the guy's a killer in the ring. Don't forget that. I remind Jake about that every single day. And this guy will slit your throat and smile right at you when he gets in that ring. And there's nothing wrong with that. So we constantly remind Jake, like, this guy is a killer. Be ready for him. And this is how we're going to attack him. This is how we're going to take away what he does. And that's it. Let's lock in. So we're just excited, man. That's all I got to say. I can't wait for Saturday. Without being excited for Saturday, because we still got a lot to do today. We got a lot to do tomorrow. We have a media workout Wednesday, but I just take it day by day. But Saturday is going to be here before you know it. And I'm really excited for Jake, for this opportunity for him to show everybody, and for our team, everybody involved in our team, and getting Jake ready for this fight. I'm really excited for our crew for Jake to benefit from this opportunity on Saturday.
Yeah, listen, I was going to bring that up, the fact that Jake has been, and you have been, and all of us in the combat sports scene have been such big fans of Anderson Silva. It's so easy to forget. You got to go still fight him, and he is a killer. He's not nice inside of those ring, or inside of that ring, like he is outside of it. So you have to be sure, right, that you're in there and looking at a blank face. You're not looking at your hero across there, and that's something obviously you just spoke to that you've been drilling in Jake's head, I assume.
Yeah, Jake's ready for that. So Jake knows how to be business, knows how to be professional. But when it's time to get in the ring, Jake's the same way. Jake doesn't care who you are. He'll knock out his own brother if he's against the ring from him. You know what I mean? So Jake is the same type of he's got that same type of temperament where he's ready to, whatever's in front of him, he's ready to destroy. So it's going to make for a very good fight.
Now I wanted to ask you this. You're obviously main eventing once again. Jake's fourth main event here in a row. But I want to ask you about the undercard, man, because I know you guys went in a different direction for this one, kind of, right? You do have Ashton Silva, and I do want you to speak more to him being on the card. But also, you got Dr. Mike, you got Chris Avila, you have Le'Veon Bell, and you have Uriah Hall. Talk to me about these fights, and I need some picks, BJ. I want some picks for some of these.
Well, tell me which one you want to talk about first, and I'm
Let's go
going to be
with
very brutally honest with you about this.
let's go top of the card, man. What do you think about this Dr. Mike and Chris Avila fight?
I have no idea anything about Dr. Mike, honestly. I don't. I've
Okay.
heard a little bit. Jake told me a little bit. I literally have no idea, and I wish him the best, but
Yeah.
I'm not even going to comment because I have no idea.
Fair play, fair play. But Dr. Mike, I commentated one of his fights. He only has one fight under his belt, but he's working hard. We'll see what happens in that one. Now, talk to me. Do you know anything about Le'Veon Bell and Uriah Hall?
Yeah. I saw his last fight with Adrian Peterson, and I just saw the knockout clip, though. If I would have watched the whole thing, I would have a little better story to tell. But, I mean, look, like, he's an athlete at the highest level. He's obviously very strong. He's very fast. He's one of those guys that decided he wants to box, and he's working hard with it. And if he works hard with it and remains dedicated, he's going to be able to be in entertaining types of fights like this. He's going to be able to go super far at 30 years of age, or 31 years, however old he is, I'm not sure. He had an incredible, NFL career. He was an incredible running back, one of my favorite players, at Pittsburgh. And coming out of college, I remember he was always such an exciting and explosive athlete. So, look, I wish him the best. I mean, I think it makes for an exciting card, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. And Uriah Hall, obviously he's got the background in the MMA world, and I think this is a very big step up for Mr. Le'Veon Bell, because you get a guy like Uriah Hall. This is no Adrian Peterson, all right? So let me be the first to tell you this is not going to be anything like that. And I've heard it for years with Jake, but you got to be ready. And I hope he's been sparring with real boxers to get him ready for this, and real fighters, MMA guys, and boxers at the professional level to make sure he's ready for this type of moment. But it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, that one's a big one for Le'Veon. He's actually called out your boy a couple times. He wants that Jake Paul fight, and I think this is his way of trying to get.
Everyone does. Everyone does.
I know it's
everybody wants to get the money. Let him go out and beat some people, and let him go see. Let's see how many pay-per-views he sells by himself as a main event, and see where he's at, and then we can figure out if that makes sense or not.
True. Now, talk to me about the number. I would say, obviously Amanda Serrano, huge #1 signing for MVP, but also right there, Ashton Silva is fighting on this card. The first time he's fighting on a Jake card. Talk to me about him. And there's a lot of hype around this kid, what he could possibly be in the future here.
I don't want to read too deep into what's going to happen in the future with him, but at the same time, this fight he's got in front of him, he's got a 29-fight veteran in front of him, a guy who's got a lot of experience, and this is a tough test. He's got to focus on this. He's got to lock in, and he's got to make sure he's ready for this type of event. But these types of fights will help him prepare as he moves down the road, help him get ready for bigger fights that he'll be in. And look, the kid's got a lot of power and a lot of speed, and he's exciting to watch. So I'm a fan like you are, and like most people out there are. He's got a lot. He brings a lot of ability into the ring, and he's a hard worker. He's been out in camp with us a couple times, and he's a good kid. So I'm looking forward to watching this fight.
Yeah, man, that one's a fun one. You guys have a fun card here. I want to get a couple more from you, BJ, and we'll let you go. This one is cool. More so just kind of, we've been on this journey. I say I've been on it with you guys. We've been watching Jake go. He's been proving me wrong ever since the beginning. I want to know why he continues to do this, right? What's the end goal for Jake? Because it's not money. I can start to see that. It's he makes a ton of it, but it's not that. It can't be that. He can make a ton of money doing everything else, What is Jake's end goal here? I know you guys aren't looking past Anderson, but I know there's a plan in place. What's he do this for?
Jake loves it, man. He's passionate about it. He feels like he can influence, masses of people for good. He's very passionate about the sport of boxing. He loves the one-on-one aspect of it. He's a very tough-minded individual. He likes, torturing himself every day and putting himself in incredible amounts of pain every day. I mean, I just don't know anybody who sparred as many rounds as Jake Paul over the last 3 years. I don't care who it is. Canelo, anybody. I mean, this guy has literally sparred probably 150 rounds this camp, 145 rounds last camp, and he does one camp after another and after another. I mean, the guy just puts in the work, and he's a tireless worker, and he's also just a very tough kid. Like, he's able to take punishment. He's able to give punishment. He's fast. He's strong. He's very explosive. He's just perfect for it. And he found it a little late in life, but he's making up for lost time.
I was going to say, did you wish
you
wish you had him about 2 or 3, maybe 4 years before you got him? What could he have been then?
No. It worked out how it's supposed to work out. So it's all good. Jake's doing what he's supposed to do, and he's making sure that he takes advantage of the opportunities in front of him now. So that's the best we can do, and I'm proud to be on board. That's it.
I love it, man. You've had a great influence on this community and the YouTube boxing scene. On me personally, I always appreciate you coming on, man. There he is, folks. BJ Flores, one of many, many important parts of Team Paul's camp. They're going to war on Saturday, October 29th. BJ, thank you so much, man.
Hey, shout out to my boy Jay Dang over here at 5 Star Fitness for letting me use his office for this interview. Jay Dang, 5 Star Fitness, Scottsdale, Arizona. Check him out if y'all ever come through.
There it is. BJ, appreciate you, my man. We'll talk to you later.